In the bustling heart of ancient Athens, a peculiar sight often captured the attention of its inhabitants. A man, Diogenes of Sinope, lived inside a barrel, or, more accurately, a ceramic jar. Today, we are diving deep into the reasons behind such an eccentric choice and exploring other philosophers who took their teachings to the extreme. Diogenes, the Cynic philosopher, was a man of extremes. Born in Sinope, his rebellious nature was evident early on. After allegedly defacing currency, a grave offense, he was exiled and found his way to Athens. Here, Diogenes would shape cynicism, not just as a school of thought, but as a lifestyle. Why the barrel, you ask? Diogenes believed in living in accordance with nature, reducing needs to the bare essentials. To him, societal norms were not just unnecessary but corrupting. His ceramic jar was a rejection of conventional housing and wealth, a symbol of his disdain for artificial societal constructs. But Diogenes didn't stop there. His acts of public defiance were legendary. He'd lampoon Athenian elites, mock Plato, and even challenged the mighty Alexander the Great. Once, when asked about his homeland, he claimed to be a citizen of the world, showcasing his rejection of nationalistic pride. Yet Diogenes wasn't alone in his extreme philosophical practices. The history of philosophy is punctuated with figures who didn't just theorize but embodied their beliefs. Enter Crates of Thebes. A student of Diogenes, he gave up a sizable fortune to embrace Cynic poverty. Living a life of simplicity, Crates practiced and preached asceticism, even going so far as to wander around Greece with his wife, living solely on alms. Another standout philosopher was Socrates, often termed the gadfly of Athens. While not bizarre in the same vein as Diogenes, Socrates' commitment to questioning everything and everyone, irrespective of their status, led him to be sentenced to death. Choosing to drink hemlock over exile, his life and death exemplified devotion to one's beliefs. The Stoics, too, weren't left behind in this quest. Seneca, despite being one of the richest men in Rome, wrote extensively about the virtues of a simple life. He regularly practiced poverty, consuming meager meals and sleeping on the ground to remind himself that wealth was not intrinsic to happiness. Jumping to the east, the legendary Zhangzi, a foundational Taoist philosopher, offers another shade of eccentricity. Zhangzi often used paradoxical anecdotes to convey his teachings. Legend has it he'd sometimes pretend to be a butterfly, blurring the lines between dream and reality, questioning the nature of existence itself. Back to the Western world, the Middle Ages introduced us to ascetic monks who seclude themselves atop pillars, like Saint Simeon Stylites. For over 3 decades, he lived atop a small platform on a pillar, drawing crowds who sought his wisdom, illustrating the lengths some would go to seek spiritual purification. Why did these philosophers adopt such bizarre life choices? First, many genuinely believed in their teachings. By living their truths, they became the embodiment of their philosophy, giving their words greater weight. Second, their eccentricities were also acts of defiance, challenges to societal norms, pushing boundaries and urging people to question the status quo. Lastly, their unique lifestyles often drew attention. In drawing crowds or evoking reactions, they found platforms to share their teachings more broadly. In closing, the extreme lives of philosophers like Diogenes weren't merely quirks or eccentricities for the sake of being different. They were deeply symbolic, richly purposeful, and, in many cases, revolutionary. Through their radical choices, they left indelible marks on the annals of philosophy, inspiring us to challenge, question, and above all, to think. In a world often dictated by conformity, perhaps there's a lesson for all of us in the tales of these philosophers. As Diogenes might say, sometimes, to find the truth, one might just need to step into a barrel.